Cool.
Okay.
So I think you have like maybe you have seen the demo already. Okay. So what
Yeah, I
is
have
it?
attended the demo.
Sorry, Sancha?
Yeah, I have already attended the demo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have seen it's like what is Pega, what is actually like the history behind that, and some of the concepts behind that, right?
Right.
So let's actually like we'll begin these sessions today. Okay. So we'll first actually we'll see what is the difference between the what the traditional application, like what the Pega application makes a difference from other applications, right? So we'll have initial introductions with that. Because this actually will give you some basic information more about what is actually like actual Pega, how it works, actually what are the different components which we are going to relate with that. So normally, if you see a normal traditional software, right? In the normal traditional software, you have like different applications like website, mobile, or CRM, and there will be like different applications. There will be multiple applications. Each have their own requirements, different business policies, different performance tools, and different system of records. But um, so actually, like you need to maintain it separately in normal applications. Actually, you cannot have a general approach to do the same. Like it will be a single platform. And so in case of Pega, you have single platform. The same platform can be used to gather a single requirement policies, performance, and analysis. And then the same application what you have developed can be exposed to website, can be exposed to mobile, and can be exposed to CRM as well. And there will be a system of record, will be a single one. There actually like you need to maintain three system of record, but in case of Pega, you need to maintain a single system of record. You don't need to maintain in different places for different devices. So that's actually one of the approach which Pega provide. It's actually unified architecture. Okay, single application and can be exposed to any device and with the system single of record. So actually, like how Pega actually like we work, right? Actually, initially there will be business objectives, and then actually like from that, the some of the modelings will be done by the business architect. Okay. Then it's like normally we go for flows or case designing. From the case design, we mainly create more rules, business rules, validations, and some more UI things to develop it in a better way. Yeah, that's actually rule also we need to give it a more detailed way. And finally, like there will be some portals, will be a mobile portal, business user portal, which will be used by business users to use your application. What you have developed will be used by them. And there are some other options also available how you are going to use Pega. Okay, so maybe if you are exposing the service or you are using as a gadget within some of the web page. So there it's like you can go for two of them. So you can go for an hybrid client or you can go for as a mashup in the website. So there are different options available how you can going to use the Pega application. So there's a different domain, business analyst domain, architect domain, and business user domain. So what are the different roles available in Pega? Okay. So if you can see, there are actually mainly like we can divide them in four: participant and designer. So designer side we have business architect and system architect, and during the participant actually like we mainly divide the case manager and case worker. So there are the four roles mainly when we create Pega. When we create a new application, you can see these four different participants in that. So for each one of them has different roles. Okay, so case worker are actually like mainly responsible for creating, viewing, and working on different assignment or task, which is actually part of the application. Okay, and he is not responsible for managing the work. So that work will be done by manager. And apart from that, actually maintaining the work, also he do the reporting part as well. Business architect, actually, like they are the main person, actually, who is actually going to decide the specifications, and your he'll going to meet the business people to get the business objectives and the requirements, and that need to be discussed with the system architect to develop the application. So system architect actually there are three roles in the system architect. Actually, mainly we based on the certification we have SA, SSA, and LSA. Like system architect, senior system architect, and lead system architect. So we have three roles which is available in Pega. So based on the role, actually like some of the basic stuff, basic rules which are easy to do, that is done by SA. Like if it is integrations or declare expressions or some other rules which is required, can be done by SSA. And initially the design level things will be done by lead system architect, LSA. Okay. So there are the different roles which is given for the different level of system architect. So Pega actually like normally like you cannot use Pega on a normal day-to-day life, because Pega is like designed for enterprise level application. It's not used for in a normal application where you have just one thing. It's not good advice to use for the same. Pega is used across the industry, actually, which is a global application. So Pega maintain a structure. Actually, when we are going to create an application, it maintains a structure where where you should start with the organization. Without organization, you cannot create a application. So organization, division, unit are the some of the rules which we create to define the work. So within that, like it assumes that you are going to work, you are going to create an application for multiple people, and which can be used in multiple region. Actually, like if one company has region in US, Latin America, Europe, EMEA, right, and then Australia. So they have region in multiple places. So how the single application is going to work for them? So they can divide in like in a different division as a different region, as like as a separate region within them. So that actually like Pega mainly works with this structure like organization. So these are the different classes which is associated with the organization label. I'll discuss about this in the what is the like class in later class. So just so you have organization, within the organization you have division. So within the organization you can have multiple divisions. Okay, within one division you can have multiple units. Okay, and unit can report to another subunit as well. So if you within a unit you can have one more label subunit as well. So that actually not shown in here. So within the, if you want one more level of subroutine, you can have here. So organization, division, unit, and you can have a subunit also here. Okay. And this is not actually okay. This is actually Pega's thing. It can be different for different company. It's not that like you need to go with this same structure. Like if you say you are working on a bank, right? Bank doesn't follow this structure. Bank have like branch center, they have some headquarters, they have contact centers, like call centers. So you cannot follow the same structure for them. So might they use different org structure so that you can need to accommodate within that. Like division, you can accommodate that. Division is actually your branch, so that you need to accommodate within that structure. So that work structure we can accommodate it based on that. Okay. So within that unit, you define the operator ID. So operators ID are nothing but the users. So who are the users? It can be system architect, it can be business architect, case manager, or case worker. Every operators we are going to define and associate with a unit. Okay, and then like there is two more things. work basket and work group. So all the tasks which we are going to create, okay, where it will going to be put into that. So that it will be a part of the work basket. Work basket is a queue. Actually, I say that is a, like if you say folder, right? You have a folder, okay. So if you want to pick a file or you want to put some file into that, and then if you want to pick the file, you go to that folder and pick the file from there. So the work basket is like that. So you have a basket of fruits, right? You want which fruit, you can pick that fruit and eat it. So that's the same thing as the task. You have work there in the one basket. You want to pick the work and you want to do that task. So that's the work basket. Actually, that is the you can say queue, okay, which contain a lot of tasks which can be assigned. So theoretically, actually there is a table behind the scene. Work basket is nothing but there is a table behind the scene which maintain the all the like whatever you are going to put into that is going to store in the table. And if you want to pick the work, you will pick from that table itself. So normally, like we define, and to differentiate different work basket, we have different names for it. Okay, and work group is the another label from the work basket. So work group is it can contain from the different units. So if you can see, like one unit is contained from the one division and another unit is contained from another division. So that can contain the work from different units as well. So that's actually like a different units, different division also can be part of a single work group. So a single user can associate the work with different division as well. So that's the concept of work group. Because work basket cannot contain the work from another unit. So work basket is also associated with one unit. So from work group, we can associate multiple work basket together in a single work group. So this concept we'll talk in later in practical way how we can going to do that. Okay. So in the next slide, that will give you more like how the relationships happen between the all the entities which we have discussed in the previous one. So you have organization, like division belongs to organization, unit belongs to. So there is one relationship. Unit belongs to one division. Okay. Work basket belongs to one unit. Operator belongs to one unit. Unit has one manage operator. Okay, there is a manager. Okay, that is like within the unit. There will be a manager associated with that, and there will be a work group. So work group has a default work basket. Work basket belongs to a work group. So there is the relationship between that. And there is one more rule which is calendar. I'll discuss about what is the rule of calendar in future classes. Okay. Yeah. So this is another important concept to understand. What is situation layer key? Okay. What do you mean by situation layer key? Okay. Just give me a minute. So what is situation layer key? Okay. Can anyone explain me actually like what is actually situation layer? Actually, like why it's like what you can figure it out before actually going into that. Uh, can anyone just give me actually if anyone have any insight of it?
It's basically like a framework layers,
Yes.
and so it's already pre-structured. And maybe like for example in the banks, it's already like accounts, loans, like it's already pre-structured framework.
Okay. Fine. Thanks, Asha. Yeah. So what actually mean by like if you say like Pega as let's actually see that. So that is like if you say yeah. So if you can see now, actually if you say you have working on a insurance platform, okay, you are working on an insurance company, okay. So that insurance company, okay. So how actually like you are going to start building your application, right? So you have actually like multiple insurance with you, motor, okay, travel, home, and pet, and you have different regions, right? You have UK, you have Singapore, you have US. So you are operating in 3 different regions as well, and each region has their own some different things, right? Actually, each rule, actually company-wise, they have different insurance legislation, and there are there. So how we are going to do that, achieve it, right? So this is actually like the framework layer. Actually, what actually Pegas is that you can reuse the things. If you say like you are going to create a policy of like motor, travel, home, and pet. So you need to get the customer. So customer will be same for everywhere, right? Technically, like if you want to get a customer for motor, travel, home, or pet, the customer details will be same, like his name, email, phone number, or email address. All the things will be same for all of the 4. So what you can do is actually you can put into one of the below framework. So in the organization level, because that can be used, the customer can be maintained in organization level. So you can put that details in the organization framework. So that can be used across in all of the upper class of that. Okay. And the Pega rules, anyway, actually we are the base rule actually it will be always in the Pega part. Okay. Then it's like some of the rules which are actually part of the organization framework, we can put the all the organization. And then you have the policy related things, right? Some of the policy documentation you need to prepare. So the way you are going to prepare the proper policy will be same for common things will be same for each type of insurance. So that all the things you can put into the policy framework. So that can be used in across everywhere, like the region and type of the insurance. And then you have like region wise some of the rules which is actually specific to the UK, Singapore, or US, or any other region, right? So that actually we can put into the specific framework layer. And finally, like your implementation layer, where you have the specific rules to related to motor, specific rules related to travel, specific rules related to home and pet. Okay, so this actually like give you like the reusability. Now, what's the benefit of it? Okay, I did it. So now, if you say I have to create one more layer, actually I'm going to extend that into the framework layer, like another region, Australia, right? So what actually like it will give me, whatever the things I developed in organization and policy, if you say that is actually like 20% of the work. So 20% of the work is already done for my new framework. Like for Australia region, my work is already done. Like 20 to 25% work, what is that need to be done, is already there in the framework layer. So I don't need to extend that work again for that new layer. So that's the benefit of the using the framework. So the same rule can be reused when if you want to extend it to some other framework layer. Okay. So if you want to increase one more type of insurance, okay, if say you want to include any one more insurance type like travel is already there. So life insurance, just assume life insurance you want to include it here. So that you can say you want to include only in UK framework. So you can see there is like 30% of the work is already done for that part. Like how you're going to get the customer, how you're going to do the policy part, and what is the region specific things, all are already there with you. So just if you need to include it, one more implementation layer for live. So there is only like 35% of the work is already done. You need to worry about the rest 65%. So that will save the time and also maintain also. Like you need to no need to maintain the, like if you have there 4 things, so for 4 places you don't need to worry about the customer. So only one rule which is actually going to use in all the 4 places. So the number of rules also reduced, and it will give you better maintainability. Like you don't need to maintain less number of rules and give you better picture and better clarity of the work. So this is actually like mainly we call it situation layer cake. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So this is actually like the next thing is your security. Okay. So this is actually like diagram which give you the insight of security. Okay. So when Eclair tool, right, what is operator? Operator is nothing but the user who is going to use your application or you develop your application. It may be a business architect, it may be a user, or it may be a developer. Okay. So once it like you are logging into the screen, how you will decide that what's your role? Like what you are going to do? Like from operator ID, it will be just a name and the password, right? How you are going to decide that what's your role? What you are going to do in your application? What application you have access? You can have access to multiple application, multiple things, but in what basis you are going to decide that what's your role? Okay, what you are going to do? So that actually Pega has the structure of the different rules to associate the type of it. So the first rule which is associated is called as access group. Okay. So access group decides that which application you are going to use. Okay. So it will give you that which application you are going to use from that access group. Okay. And what role you are going to perform, that also we maintain in access group. And also in access group we mention that which portal you are going to use. So for each user we have different portals. Like for developer we have Designer Studio, for case manager we have case manager portal, for case user we have case user portal, and for business architect we have a new portal which is called as Pega Express. Okay, so for each of the type of the user we have different portals. So you can create your own portal depending on next like requirement. We can create our own portal and new access groups as well. Like we have branch manager, cluster manager, or like adjusters, claim adjusters. So different of type of that, we can create our own access group as well. By default, Pega gives 4 access groups, and later we can extend that access groups to multiple levels as well. So that is like will give you that what role you are going to put and what application you are going to use. Okay. So I'm not talking about more on this. We'll talk this one in another class when we discuss on the when we see the access group and access role. So that you will get to know more about that. So this is the initial thing you just need to mention about the what is access group and what are the things we are going to access from the access group. So you decide what application you are going to use, what role you are going to perform, and which portal you are going to get access. Okay. And an operator can have multiple access group, but only one access group will be active at a time. Like he can access to multiple access group, but one active access group will be active one at a time. I'll tell you what that means. Okay. I'll show you in practical way, so you will get to know about that.
Mukesh, what is that ARO?
ARO. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to talk that in ARO is access role of object.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking for full form for now.
Yeah, actually it is access role of object. Like for each class, can you create rules? Can you delete the rules? Okay. Can you create instances? can you delete the instances, can you run the report, all that things for a specific class we define an access role of object.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. Yeah. This is again like what is the different methodology of the project is available in the Pega. So there can be waterfall, Scrum, okay, and these are the different approach how we are going to maintain your project. So there are different ways we can maintain a Pega project. It can be a waterfall, Scrum. This is the Pega BPM, okay, which is called as initiation, inceptions, elaborations, constructions, transitions, and finally go live. So this is the hybrid approach from waterfall and Scrum. So if you see, like once you have done the like your inception is done, it becomes here it becomes Scrum. So elaboration and construction are iterative. So you are doing that. Now you have complete the inception. You are doing that elaboration and construction in repetitive, in a agile way. So that's the hybrid of waterfall and Scrum. That is really Pega BPM. And there is some actually hybrid approach. Actually, some of the organizations use their own way of maintaining the project. Okay. Yep. So most of the things actually like the 6 hours Pega, once actually we have done that. So that's the 6 hours. Okay. We have integrations. There we have multiple integration and services are available. We have different rules to support. Once actually we have data mappings. We put into the clipboard, and we have different rules and actually which is used by the users to support that. So this will give you the initially introduction about the Pega now. Okay. So is there any doubt on this? Any questions?
Yeah, Mukesh, Jaswan here. Mukesh, regarding to that, I mean methodology, basically, I mean, mostly they will doing, I mean, this Pega itself is separate, they have methodology, right? They are following different methodology, right, for Pega?
Yeah, actually, Pega actually like once actually like go for Scrum one. Okay, Pega says best practice go for Scrum. Okay, but many company actually like if you see what actually happen is they don't develop the standalone solution in Pega. Okay, they have the dependency on other system as well. So if you are going to build an application which is like is a consist of multiple applications like your legacy applications, right? You have Java applications, some of the tab, or you have some analytics, warehousing. So you need to connect everything. So normally when you go for Scrum, like everything cannot work with the Scrum methodology. If you have a standalone application you are developing only in Pega, you can go with the Scrum. So many companies face problems when they go need to, because there will be dependency with the different system as well. So if you go with the Scrum, you will not get that feature. So that's why they go for Pega BPM. Here actually like they complete that, and then after that they go for this one. Or many companies still following the waterfall approach. So it depends on the company or organization what project methodology they are going to use. Okay.
So Mukesh, so Pega usually we hear it is a BPM methodology, right? So how different is BPM methodology with, I mean, is it like agile and waterfall blended BPM methodology, or is it a different one?
Yeah, Pega has actually itself developed one project methodology that is actually we call it Pega BPM. So this is like the approach actually like we have like in waterfall what we do. actually like once one of the step is completed, we move to the next one. Okay. And in the Scrum, what we do actually, like we divide the work into different sprints, use case and the user stories, and we try to complete every day the task, right? And actually like every phases of the project is a single project. Actually like there will be one chunk is gone, it will be start testing on that, right? So here actually what they are doing is, so if you say your planning and requirement is done, okay, and the design phase, what you are doing it, you are doing in a Scrum way.
Okay.
And then again implementation you are doing in waterfall approach.
Okay, so this is a mix of both and it is Pega BPM methodology, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Now we'll talk about the regarding the software. Okay. Yeah. So you will get the software. Okay. You will actually like the link to download the same. Okay. So once you will see that software, it will contain a like this way. It will be a zip file. Okay. Yeah. So you will get 7.2.1. So actually, like you will get the it will be around 4 to 5 GB. Okay. So you just need to, what you need to do, you just need to click onto this install. That's it. You need to extract in a common folder. And one thing you remember, you don't give the space between this. Don't give the name of the folder any spaces. Okay. There should not be any spaces with the name when you are giving the folder name. With if you give, it will not take that in. It will not work. So what I like, don't give the name and just click onto the install. It will install that in a particular drive. So you will see your personal edition here. Here you will install the Java and your database and the server. Okay. So and then it will also give you 3 icons in your desktop, like your startup, shutdown, and login. Okay. So first time, what you need to do, you need to click onto the starter. It will give you this window. Okay. And here, like it will start the server and all the your. It will start, and finally, like at end of the thing, it may take depend on the speed. It may take longer time, and I'll tell you some of the basic things, which is like for installation of the personal edition, it's actually like available on the only on Windows, okay, and it required Windows 7 plus 64-bit, Windows 7 64-bit or Windows 8 or 10. It will not support 32-bit, okay, and you need at least 4 GB of RAM, okay. So there are some of the basic things is required to install the software. And finally, like when the server is started, you will get at end of the thing, you will get this message. Your server start up in this millisecond. Like that means like you have done, your server is started properly, all the things, whatever the web app is installed also, then you can click onto the login. It will give you the login options for you. Okay.
So Mukesh, are you going to send that link to download the software, or will you send it to Google Drive?
Yes, you will get that. Actually, like there will be different way to get it. Actually, like, if you are in Bangalore, I'll give you USB. Others, actually, if they will get, Ashok will send that link to download.
You can share it via Google Drive also, right? We can download.
Yeah. Yes.
Google Drive is better, right?
Like Google Drive link only.
Okay, then it's fine. Okay.
So there is actually, like if you can see, in personal edition we have Windows, Tomcat, Postgre database, and the respective Java version, and there are web apps. So there is actually 3 web apps comes up with the Pega. We call it PR Web, PR Help, and PR Sys Management. Okay, that's the personal edition. We have enterprise edition, which is actually used in the industry. Okay, that can have, that support the different web servers, Tomcat, WebSphere, WebLogic, JBoss, and different OS. You have ZOS, Linux, Windows, Solaris. Okay, and database side we have DB2, Oracle, Postgres, and SQL Server. So they are the different configuration. So you can have different configuration as well. Like you can go for WebSphere, Windows, SQL Server. You can go for WebLogic, Solaris, Postgres. So any combination is possible. Okay. So for each of the support, Pega has provided the implementation guide. How you can go for, how you can going to set up, or how you are going to do it. So Pega provides different implementation guide for different versions. So between this one, actually there are not much difference. Actually, like feature wise, almost both are same. Like personal edition and enterprise edition are same. Only thing is that it is a window. It can be go with different OS. Okay, it can be only in Tomcat. It can have multiple web servers. It only support Postgres. It can support multiple things. And apart from that, personal edition cannot be installed on servers. Actually, that is like you can have single window, single application, right? But enterprise application can be installed in servers. Okay. And personal edition has one more. Actually, it cannot have multiple nodes. You cannot create multiple nodes. But in the enterprise edition, you can have multiple nodes as well. So Pega is like normally we work in real time. We work with the multi-node environment only. So that is really one of the things features wise you will not get that. Okay. Otherwise, actually application wise, all the Pega feature wise, there is no problem. Only that the infrastructure wise, some of the things you will miss from the personal edition. So learning wise, yeah, you will get the all the features first. Infrastructure only will have some, you will not able to get it. Okay. So first time when you want to log in, you will get the this is the user ID and password for that, administrator@pega.com, and then you need to give it the. So first time when you are going to log in, you need to log in with this user ID. Okay. Okay. The password is installed for the same. You need to use the install. So this is the ID, you can say, like development environment for Pega application. So this is the place you are going to create your, or you are going to test your application. So this is actually like we called as Designer Studio. Okay, this is actually we called as Designer Studio. In tomorrow's session, we'll talk about this one. Actually, what are the different things which is available in the Designer Studio. So you can see that we have different people which like are going to use in Pega. We have developers, SA, SSA, and LSA. We have like the respective portal is called as Designer Studio. And for business analyst, we have Pega Express. For case manager, we have case manager portal. For case user, we have case user portal. Okay. For system administrator, they are going to use the Designer Studio itself. And there are some other people like DBS. They are mainly going to work with the database side. And finally, like once your development is done, you may need other support people. So they might use a different portal, like maybe Designer Studio or case manager or case user portal, depend on to the problems or issue they face. Okay. So they are the different users which are going to be associated with the application. And tomorrow's session will start with the what is your mean by Designer Studio, because if I'll start now, I'll not able to finish it completely. So it's better to start the Designer Studio from like in tomorrow's class itself. So if you have anyone doubts, we'll take that one now. Any questions for anyone? So we'll start with the like what is the like different portals everyone has. Okay, we'll see that out. What are the different things in the Designer Studio? Any questions for anyone?
Hello, Mukesh.
Yes.
Is it compulsory 4 GB RAM, 2 GB RAM is sufficient for installation?
No, 2 GB. Like see, Pega is actually like see. What actually like see? You are seeing in a single page, right? So
Okay.
how is going to maintain a single page? So it uses the cache a lot, like your RAM,
Okay.
to dump the memory into there. It may install you for that, but see, when actually I'm clicking something, right? So if you say I want to save something, I want to open a rule.
Okay.
So for me, see, it's like it's mine is 8 GB RAM. So it's taking how many time? How much time to open it? Okay. So if it is a 2 GB RAM, so it can multiply the 4 by 4. So if it takes 2 seconds for me, it may take 8 seconds to you open it.
Okay.
And if you want to save it again it will take time. Okay, so because see, now if you like if you say it's like 2 seconds and then it will take so you will feel not good actually when you are working. You will feel that, oh, why it's actually working that slow, right? So if you want to learn in better way, like because RAM, if you want to increase your RAM, if you can see that your support RAM is actually like it's cheaper now. You will get 2 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM in 2000 rupees itself.
Okay.
Because I increased in like it cost me 2,300 rupees to increase from 4 GB to 8 GB. Yeah, RAM should be 4 GB, at least 4 GB.
Okay, thank you.
If it is more than that, it will be like beneficial. It will be perform more better. But 2 GB is not advisable. Like you want to learn something, but you will feel frustrated. It's like it's running slow and like what you can learn in 5 minutes, it will take 15-20 minutes to learn it. Yeah. Like for me, it was not working that well. So it's better to have more than 4 GB.